Hello, this is Michael Owens with Here Come the Irish, and you're watching the Two Irish Brothers Show. Go Irish.
But Waters finds a hole, one man to beat, he's gone. Ricky Waters makes like Tim Brown on his first punt return. There are no penalty flags.
How's it going, everyone? I am Sean Moriarty.
I'm Benjamin Walters. Welcome in to the Two Irish Brothers Show. First recap of the 2024 season, and it's a victory recap. So can't get much better than that.
Yes, Ben. But before we get into that, you know that we have to tell the people the drill, right? Everybody knows it. But for those who happen to see us for the first time, you guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe tab in the bottom right-hand corner. Like or dislike the video. And, hit that bell icon so you always know when we go live or we upload new material. We never disappoint. At least I don't think we do anyway. But with that said, Ben, you are absolutely right. We are one game in to the 2024-25 season, and Notre Dame comes out of College Station with a victory.
Yep, they did. 23-13 victory. The score doesn't really show how close of a game it was for the longest time, but we came out victorious, and that's all that matters. This was a survive and win the game and make a statement. And we've made our first statement of the college football season.
And I'll say this, being completely honest, Ben, I wish that your prediction came true. I wish it was just a Notre Dame blowout and, Riley Leonard going off. Unfortunately, that prediction didn't happen. It was actually a combination of both me and Matt's prediction, because for those of you who don't know, former Notre Dame receiver Matt Shelton was on the show last week a couple of times. He was on here for the first ever former Notre Dame football player to be on a preview with us. Unfortunately, Ben wasn't here, but really it was a combination of both our predictions. I said that it was going to be a one-score lead for the longest time, and then Notre Dame pulls away with that insurance score. And Matt just straight up predicted a 1-point shootout, which it pretty much was that too.
Yeah.
But we got to give our hats off to A&M here, dude. I mean, they have a very stout defense. And we'll get more into how our offense fared against that, but they really put up a battle, and it was a really good game.
Yes, they did. I don't think people quite understand. It is hard to win in Kyle Field. And ask Alabama. In their 6-5 season, Alabama in 2022, Alabama beat them 24-20. Okay, that was at Alabama. Okay. And then at Kyle Field last year, Alabama won 26-20.
I knew it was a one-score game.
So it is a hard thing to do, to beat them at Kyle Field.
Well, they're called the
12th man. There's a reason that it's called the 12th man. So hats are off to A&M. This was a defensive battle. Like, the stats show it. The stats absolutely show it. People are freaking out about Riley Leonard, saying that he's not it, and saying that, once again, we have a quarterback problem at Notre Dame. I don't think it is fair to go that far. The big thing was our offensive line had 6 starts among them. 6 starts.
Yeah. A very, very young offensive line core. I that's the stuff that drives me crazy, but I just want to get this in there so I don't spend the whole episode talking about it. But yeah, I don't care who our starting quarterback is. I don't care if it's a true freshman. I don't care if it's a grad transfer like Riley Leonard. What is it that people don't understand about it being the first game of the season? All right. It's not only the first game of the season, but you're playing in a ruckus environment like Kyle Field. And it's like people expect things to go perfectly. Sorry, it's not. This is college football. There's no preseason. It's straight from the go. All right? Things are not always going to go the way that you want them to, and you might as well just face that right now. Because during the game, Leonard's making mistakes. Receivers are misrunning routes. People are saying, "Oh, put Angelian. Leonard's not the answer." Just shut up, you stupid people. I'm sorry. I had to say that, Ben. I had to. It's
the big thing is that you could tell that it was more an offensive line situation than it was a Riley Leonard situation. Because when Riley Leonard had the time, he made the read and made a completed pass.
Yes.
And there were multiple times in this game. where we saw Riley Leonard make a veteran throw.
Yeah, and nobody wants to talk about those parts.
In the end zone. He had a corner strike in the end zone where he threw a ball that only his receiver was going to be able to catch it. He was trying to lead his receiver away from the safety that was covering him, and the receiver did not make the catch. There were multiple drops by receivers, and the pressure that was on Riley constantly throughout this game was astronomical.
Yeah.
Astronomical. And there were also multiple times where there was just a misconnection when it came to the throw, where the receiver was supposed to be somewhere else and the receiver didn't make the right read, the right route.
Right.
Running. So could there have been better situations? Yes, of course. The offensive line could have been better, and Riley Leonard could have completed some more passes and had more than 200-something yards that he threw for. For sure. Or I'm sorry, he threw for 158. I apologize. 158 yards.
Well, I'll tell you this much. 18 of 30, 158 yards. Okay, no touchdowns, but no
QBR, which, is not much just to, brag about and write home to your mom about. But given that it was a baptism by fire situation with our line, we did okay. And let's just say that Riley Leonard is not scared. Okay. I wanted to see how he was in the pocket and running wise, because he's a running quarterback. Mm-hmm. Riley Leonard is a running quarterback. I wanted to see how he was after that injury against Notre Dame, ironically, in the Duke game last year that ended his season.
Yeah.
He made the runs, and he took hits, and he lowered his shoulder to get yards. This was not, I'm scared and I'm going to shy away and I'm nervous about getting hurt again. This was, I'm doing what it takes to win the game. And that is why you brought Riley Leonard in here. That is why we went into the transfer portal and made this move.
63 yards on 12 carries. I'd say he's not afraid.
And let's remember, here's the biggest thing that people have to remember. You have two defensive-minded coaches going against each other.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this was our, former defensive coordinator, I do believe. Am I right on that one? Two of our former defensive coordinators. I mean,
Mike Elko was our defensive coordinator.
Did not expect a defensive battle in this game.
Absolutely. I remember being upset when Mike Elko was leaving Notre Dame.
Yes, I think just about everybody was upset because he turned around our defense that was absolutely gutted by Brian Van Gorder and a few others that just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But while we're talking about the defense, okay, this defense that Notre Dame has is elite.
They're a platinum record, dude. Okay. They played phenomenal.
Now, I'm going to butcher his name. Wigman. Connor Wigman. The quarterback for A&M.
Yeah, close enough. Connor Wigman, however you want to say it.
He threw for 100 yards against Notre Dame. Threw 2 interceptions. He was 12 of 30 with a QBR of 31.8. Okay. Now, here's the mind-boggling stat for this game. The last time that A&M threw for 100 yards or less, the last time, was in 2022 against Appalachian State, where they threw for 97 yards and no touchdowns. in a loss to Appalachian State. Last season, okay, A&M played Alabama, playoff team Alabama, and Alabama's defense allowed 231 passing yards and 20 points against A&M.
So, yeah, the bottom line is this is a team that can put the ball in the air and hammer you.
That was just passing yards. Our total defense against A&M was 246 yards. So I'll let that sink in for a second.
Like I said, our defense is a platinum.
And this was on the road. This was us on the road. This was not us in our house in A&M visiting. This was in College Station at Kyle Field.
Yeah, they had the noise and the home field advantage on their side. Absolutely.
So hats off to the defense. Now, were there mistakes made? Yes, there were a ton of mistakes. Like, we're going to go over that because one of the most simplest things that drives me absolutely, and I'm going to pull a Brian Kelly, absolutely drives me freaking crazy, okay, is that the offsides for Notre Dame. My God. Like, really? Like, how many was that? 4 offside calls for us?
3 or 4.
Like, good
I think 3, but there was
grief. Good grief. Like, I get false starts when it's like a hostile environment and you can't hear yourself think. I kind of understand that. But when you're the defense, you go when the guy in front of you moves. That's all you got to fucking do. Pardon me. That's all you got to do.
I'm going to leave that in there.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, that is what drove me nuts. Now, like I said, overall defense was great. There were multiple times, though, that just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
And I'm not going to try to be one of those guys, but there were some very questionable penalties that should not have been called, and I'll just leave it there. But, yeah, no, too many penalties. The defensive line, it goes back to what we're taught in, youth league, dude. Watch the ball.
Right.
Watch the ball, or like you said, wait till the guy in front of you moves. So, I was disappointed with that. But overall, a great performance by the defense. I really can't complain. And then you have guys like Xavier Watts and the other guy, Osbury. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, the youngster.
Yeah, Jaden Osbury coming through with an interception.
Yep.
Jack Kaiser, Patello, Sneed, Heinisch leading the way with tackles. You couldn't ask for a better defensive performance.
Well, and Benjamin Morrison was challenged twice and allowed 1 yard. Benjamin Morrison was challenged twice and allowed 1 yard. So
that guy's gotten better in his time here.
It's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. But what was not incredible, and we're going to talk about this too. Okay.
Let's do it.
I understand that we're average Joes. I understand that we don't coach, and pretty much the furthest we ever went with football was high school. I get that. Okay, I do. But, okay, can we not have screen passes on 3rd and freaking long? Like, can we not, please, for the love of all things whole, like, if it was 3rd and 1, okay, and you needed like a bubble screen or something, sure, let's do it. But when it is like 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20, why are we throwing screen passes? Like,
that was driving me crazy too.
What? The 4th down calls, I loved it. That showed major cojones. That was I believe in my team. I'm sending a statement. I loved that. Okay. I loved that aggressive mentality. But the 3rd and long calls that were short screen passes was mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And Riley Leonard's a senior, okay? He's a senior you brought in from the transfer portal. Can we not give him free reign to make a call at the line if he sees something that he doesn't like? Can we please do that? Like, I get that the coaches watch the film and make the game plan. I get all that. But if the defense shifts and they audible and change up their formation, can we not do the same? Can we please not do I don't know, Sean. Like, it just,
I can see you just getting a headache right now.
like, I mean, any of us, like, I play online football. Like, I'm not saying that that's like the end all be all. I'm not. Okay. But if I see that, like, he just switched up his defense, I'm changing my offensive game plan. I might go, okay, instead of running the ball, I'm shifting over to the pass. But there's no audible at the line of scrimmage. You see it. No one shifts. No one changes their spot. Nothing. Can we please do that? Like, I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'm frustrated with that one.
Oh, I was very frustrated with some of that play calling. Like, why? When we were watching the game together, my family and I were like, "What is with all these damn screens and this and that, whatever?" And again, I'm not a coach. I'm not gonna tell these guys how to do their job. They're the ones that have had the experience and are making the money. I'm not. But it's just, if A&M was ready for it, then change it. Let Leonard have that reign. But at the same time, look, it's the first game of the season. I think that the idea was just to come in there and leave with a victory no matter how you got it, even if play calling was questionable at times. And it was loud, so I'm sure there's been times that I know where, like, okay, here's an example. I was watching this the Chicago Bears documentary featuring Mike Ditka, and this was when I think it was when Jim Harbaugh was their quarterback. They come into Minnesota one time, and the place was loud. And leading up to that game, Ditka says, we're not going to audible. We're not going to audible the whole game, and we're going to just take whatever happens. That's our strategy. And it was working for a while. But then at this one time, Harbaugh calls an audible, and the problem though was the receiver. I think it was I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Willie Galt. I don't know. But all I know is whoever the receiver was didn't hear Harbaugh's audible. And what happens is that play, Harbaugh ends up throwing a pick six. Like I think it was supposed to be a straight out pass, but the receiver ran downfield. So, and that play cost him the game. So maybe I think that's what Freeman and his staff were trying to do is not make a mistake that'll cost you. That's my guess. It's just a theory, I don't know for sure.
But it's the age-old quote for me: history favors the bold. So
you got it.
But we won. That's the bottom line. Game ball. Let's do a game ball. Let's your game ball.
Well, let's go over the stats of some of these guys, and we can
go for it, and then we'll do game ball.
Yeah. Well, this will let us make an educated decision. So Leonard and his toughness, we've already covered Riley Leonard, but let's talk about the rushing game. You got Jeremiah Love, 91 yards on 14 carries with one score. Yeah. Darian Price, 44 yards. The chunk came on that one touchdown drive, or that one touchdown run, excuse me. 44 yards and 8 carries for one touchdown. The receiving game, and this is kind of hard to predict because of the tough time Riley Leonard had throwing the ball, but Bo Collins had a great game, 62 yards, 5 carries.
And that incredible catch that should have counted.
Wait, are you talking about the one where he caught it off the dude's helmet?
No, on the sideline. Well, yeah, I guess it was off the dude. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a completed catch.
Oh, did it count? I don't even – okay.
Yeah. But then, of course, we talked about the defense and how stout they were. So we have some options here. So, yeah, now it's time for game ball. And I'm giving it to Jeremiah Love. He ran hard. It just so many times where he was stopped short. I'm sure that was very frustrating. I know I was frustrated watching it, but he came back and had a great game, dude. So I'm giving it to Jeremiah Love.
Yep. Mine comes via special teams. Special teams can win and lose games. Been there, done that. We've seen it in the past. I'm giving it to Mitch Jeter. 3 for 3, 100%, 46 long, went 2 for 2 on his extra points. The field goal at the very end of the game that iced it to make it 23-13, that basically ended A&M's any chance that they had, was just absolutely clutch. You're in a hostile environment. You know you got to make this. Both you have to make. I mean, you had to make both of them. And he did. Scored 11 points for us. Can't ask much more than that. Absolutely incredible. I give it to Mitch Jeter.
Well, and he really had a good season at where'd he come from? South Carolina?
South Carolina. Yep. Only missed 2 field goals his entire time at South Carolina last season. So, yep, a great pickup. I mean, heck, even our Aussie punter, James Rendell, did phenomenal. Or no. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, special teams was good. Was absolutely good. It would be nice to see a couple of returns since we didn't actually return anything yesterday, but is what it is. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We had one for 19 yards on a kick return. But or 2 days ago, I'm sorry, since this is Monday.
I know it still feels like Sunday though.
But yeah, overall, good game. Was a little stressful as usual, but the big blow, if you will, is losing Faison for next week. He will definitely be out next week. The depth chart has been dropped for the NIU game. He is not on the depth chart for that game, so he is sitting out, which is a bummer. But
Mitchell's going to be starting, and
hopefully it's a 1 week thing. It's NIU. It's not like it's a pivotal game like Southern Cal or Florida State or even A&M. But yeah, so we wish him nothing but the best. Hope he has a speedy recovery, and we see him back in 2 weeks. So,
well, I think we've covered just about everything we have to, Ben. And the bottom line is we got one in the books, 11 to go before we hit playoff time.
Yep.
So we got through the first big test of the season. We came out.
Playoffs? You talking about playoffs?
I know, way too early for that, but I'm just saying before it gets here. I know a lot can happen between now and then, but the bottom line is we got through the first big test on our way to get there.
Yes.
So we came out with a win. That's all that matters. And it's the first game of the season, and I'm confident things will get better.
I am too.
So on that note, everybody, I am Sean Moriarty.
I'm Benjamin Walters.
This has been the Two Irish Brothers Show, and as we always say every episode, good night, God bless, and go Irish.
Go Irish.